Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Virche Epic Lycoris, continuing Anko's route. I'm just gonna be honest, I didn't want to do this. Like, we got to. I'm already behind. I literally am like, okay, if I don't start recording the stuff for the week, this is a Monday that this goes up, I have nothing for this week right now, obviously. And I have enough stuff to put up all of last week's stuff, and then I'm fucked. But I'm that far behind, but I just don't want to be here. I hate saying that. But Onko's route is so fucking boring. Again, I know we have moments where we're having a good time, but the overall is like when we get to the end, it's like, yeah, this just feels pointless. And I can't shake that feeling, and I hate it. I hate it so much. Onko deserves so much fucking better than what they've done, which is make it boring because we're just redoing the full first game. And I just, so it took all I had. I wasn't really going to record it all today. I was like, no, nope, not going to do it. I don't want to, but I'm like, I have to. But like, it's like pulling teeth right now. So, I'm really just hoping the fuck that they'll just speed through this instead of like dragging this out for another 10 hours because I can't take anymore. Like, I know when we get to the end, the payoff will be there, and it'll be like, oh, it was a great ending, and that'll make up for it, and I'll be like, it's so good! But, like, the ride to get there is not good. Again, we got moments. We got moments where we have fun scenes, but overall, it feels kind of painful, because it's like, here we go, okay, doing the same shit over and over again, and, like, I don't want to play the whole first game. I've said it 100 times. They could have done this so much better, but they took the lazy fucking route. I mean, not even. I wish they had taken the lazy route. The lazy route would have been surmising some of the stuff, throwing in some new scenes, wrap it up, you know what I mean? And making it shorter, but they were like, no, 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 let's drag it out and make it the length of the first fucking game. This way you feel like you're getting your money's worth. It's like, yeah, but I would rather you not have done this because this now makes me feel more like a waste of money. And I don't want to feel that way about this game. I liked the first game. I like these characters. I haven't minded this game until now. But now I'm like, we're really gonna redo really? Really? And I hate this decision. Whoever made this decision, I don't want to just talk. I want to beat you for being a jackass. That's what I want. I wish we could. I wish I could, but it's all unread, unfortunately. Oh, God. Anyway, I'm going to do my best, but guys, I'm just going to whine about it the whole time. Anyway, Uncle and I walked through the town on our way home alongside the throng of people who did the same after a day's work. What are you talking about? Oh, what were you talking about with Lucas Proust? I believe I overheard my name. It's a secret, especially because it's you. Oh, hearing that only serves to further pique my curiosity. Just when did you learn to tease others in such an adorable way? Bird, do not bite my chin, please. I'm already annoyed. You bit my neck before and it hurt, and I'm not in a good mood now, and I will take you and I'll throw you downstairs. Don't annoy me. I love you, and I know you're just being cute, but I grouchy, and I'm gonna take the grouchy out on you, because I grouchy at this game. I'm just copying what he does. It was apparent that he wasn't aware. Don't test me, Bird. He's just sitting there staring at me, but it's like, but he's also just the way he's sitting is like smushed against my chin, and then he's gonna get annoyed because my chin is moving, and it's like, but I'm talking, and this is what we do. You know you know how this goes. It's like, use your brain cell, Bird. I love you. I didn't know whether my newfound determination to live was a good thing or not. I'm feeling like it's not right now. So mean. But at the very least, I was content with my resolve to not die so easily for the time being. Oh, that's right. Uncle, why don't we check on Spinel before going home? Okay, so it'd be like, again, you surmise some stuff. Yeah, we got to check on her. Cool, but again, she didn't really need to be added. I hate saying that because I do like her, but it's like she did not need to be added. You added her to kind of like milk this and drag it. It was just another way to drag this out. And it's like, you're kind of making me resent her existence because just the way you're formatting this whole thing. I'm a bit worried since we haven't seen her since the other day. I'm not. I'm a bit worried that we're going to be here for 3 years. I just want to get to the fun stuff where we're doing fun little side thing and they're just going to take and they're not 16 hours. We've been here forever. A fine idea. I'm especially concerned about whether or not she's lying low as we advised. I don't care. It appears she has a penchant for alcohol, so I do hope she's not causing any trouble because of it. Bird, again, I told you, I'm not in a good mood right now, and I swear to God, if you bite me again, I will chuck you downstairs. I'm done. I can't take another sip. I totally lost this competition. Where's your spirit? We haven't even gone through 5 bottles yet. Should have known it was her. I feel like that should be more amusing than it is. But again, I'm just very irritable right now. As soon as we stepped into the bar, we were met with the sound of loud cheering that you wouldn't expect at this hour. You go, lady! That's your 6th win in a row! Are there any other challengers who can handle their liquor? I had no idea if there was a woman in Coen who could hold their liquor. Where have you been hiding till now? Huh? It's no surprise you haven't seen me around, since I just go wherever the wind takes me. Uncle's slicking up, smacking her. Shut the fuck up. Oh. Uncle grabbed Spinel and dragged her to the corner of the bar where I was waiting. Don't stand out. We emphasized the importance of this, yet you seem to have conveniently forgotten our warning. He spoke to the lady, her cheeks reddening in an intimidating tone that made it seem like he would rob her of her soul at any moment. Good for him. You know, playing on the, like, I come from hell thing, because it's working. Hey, Uncle! Looks like you've learned a bit about fashion in the short time I haven't seen you. But Spinel responded nonchalantly with absolutely no hint of fear, despite Anko's silent rage. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. I'm actually being a lot more tame than usual. This is tame. I could hear your voice from outside of the bar. I'm just loud. Shut up. You truly do love drinking, don't you? Seeing her made me feel that she would get along with the core members Adolphe told me about, who also love drinking. Wait, okay, so maybe you should have introduced Spinel in the other game, so that we could have introduced her to Hugo, so then maybe he would have forgotten about his love for Eve, because you don't know, he could be bisexual. I'm not saying she's going to make a man straight, but I'm just saying he could be bisexual. We don't know, okay? We know he's in love with Eve, but that doesn't tell us anything. We can joke about him being gay, but we know at least he loves Eve. But we don't know, just because he hates us, that he hates women. Okay, it could just be us because we're trying to take Eve away from him, right? He could be bisexual, and if we bring him a woman that could drink him under the table, maybe he'll forget about Eve, and then he won't have to die from being lovesick. I'm just saying, I think it would solve problems. You know? Then, like, Eve wouldn't feel sad that Hugo died. We wouldn't feel bad that we killed Hugo. Hugo wouldn't have, like, clawed his own heart out from being heartbroken over Eve, and, like, you know. And then Spinel gets a boyfriend. And then Hugo's happy. You know what I'm saying? And then Hugo's not going to try to fight me in my man harem and, like, try to break down the doors to take Eve away. Like, you can't do that. Get out of here. You know? So, I'm just saying. Right? Yeah. Huh? Solves everything. Problem solved. They just implemented her in the wrong fucking way. Anyway. Spinel dropped onto a nearby chair, making a loud noise as she did so. Anko and I also took a seat across from her and began our discussion, speaking in a low volume so no one could overhear us. I don't think anyone suspects a thing about my background. It looks like they think I'm a reliver or whatever you call it after seeing my tattoo. As she mentioned it, our gazes were immediately drawn to the intricate pattern on her chest. Our eyes were immediately drawn to her breasts. I mean, she's kind of presenting them, and to be fair, I love the vest, but also like the little straps over, kind of giving her a little cleavage. I can't help it. Oh, I was wondering about that. While it looks similar, it's still a bit different from those of relivers. Yeah, some countries have cultures where they tattoo pictures and designs under their skin. Pictures on their skin? I've never heard of that before. I'm glad to hear it's helping you blend in, but you're still new to the island. I ask that you be a bit more cautious. We also heard that you had some drinks with Dr. Capucine. Or rather, that you forced him into drinking with you. Yeah, but that was a genius move, to be fair. I bumped into him at just the right time. I get that he's someone to be careful around for Spacey, but I don't discriminate when it comes to drinking buddies. She's just, no. You know what, though? There had to be something more to it, because I kind of forget that, because obviously it's been fucking forever since I played, not the last part. That was yesterday for me. But, like, the rest of it, you know, there was a huge gap in there, and didn't really miss it, to be fair. But, I think it's more, it's less like, I need someone to drink with. There's a whole bar of people to drink with. I think you were trying to get info out of him. So, like, good on you if that's the case. But also, even if you just wanted someone to drink with and he just happened to be there, good on you for getting him drunk and making him sick, because he's in pain. And I can live with that. When I was traveling, it wasn't uncommon for me to drink all night with someone I tried to kill the day before. Really? After I gave her a surprised look, Spinel called someone over to order 2 drinks and some juice, as well as some food. Can we just say that she needs her own game? Not this one. She needs another game where we're, like, traveling around on, like, a pirate ship, and she's, like, a pirate queen. And then, she's, like, a badass, and we just got a bunch of boyfriends that we can, like, wrangle up and take with us. You know what I mean? We collect boyfriends on the high seas. So, our pirate queen, right here. I know we got technically, I guess the pirate game we kind of had, but not really. My next life as a villainess wasn't it was pirate themed. There was a theme in the pirates. So I guess it counts, but it also kind of doesn't. But I'm just saying, they could make a spin-off game with Spinel as the main character. I would play that. And then we'd finally, okay, I wouldn't say finally. We've had some main characters that are pretty tough and like whatever, but most of the time we're very cutesy. Like, look at my little Bambi face and I'm cute and adorable. I want to be hot and sexy for once, okay? Let me be some sexy bitch. Not like, oh, hi. Okay. Completely naive and innocent. I want to be a kick-ass. We've had games where we're kick-ass, but sometimes even when we're kick-ass, we're still a little naive somehow. It's like, I can kill you, but I am also kind of innocent, which is just a weird balance, but like, fine, I guess. I want to be this bitch. I want to be her. And I want her to be the one too, because damn well she'd be the one that like, I need to see you in my office because you're not doing your job on this ship. And then she just pin them down on her desk and like, just take no for an answer. You know what I mean? Well, that would be wrong, but like, but she'd be pinning them down. They'd be like, what? And she would take charge. It wouldn't be like Lucas pinning us in the bed. She'd be pinning him in the bed. And it's like, what? Maybe we need to take some charge. We need to take charge. That's what I want. Yeah, let's do that. Again, we've had games where we've got like main characters who aren't like completely naive and innocent and Bambi-eyed, but they're few and far between. But I think a game with, Spinel as the main character would be kind of fun. I think we should do that. We get into all sorts of fucking trouble. It would be ridiculous. It'd be kind of funny. You know it, right? And then we could ride off into the sunset and not be in this rot anymore. I feel so bad for poor Anko. I really do. He looks so fabulous in this outfit, and he deserves his chance. They don't hate him as much as they hate Lucas, but they're not helping his case right now. You know what I mean? Anyway. Drinks and juice and food and whatever she ordered. I don't know if I read that, but who gives a fuck? This is a mercenary. I could die tomorrow. No, at any second. We're ephemeral beings. Which is why I live as I please, so I don't leave this world with any regrets when my time comes. not leaving the world with any regrets. In a way, I'm the complete opposite of the people in this country, since I'm not searching for ways to prolong my life. And that is very extreme. However, it is a way of living that certainly suits you. Right you are. Spinel responded with laughter despite the heavy topic we were discussing. She could die at any moment? Are the wars outside of this country really that violent? Wars aren't exactly a peaceful affair. All battles lead to bloodshed and death for a lot of folks. I had completely misunderstood what life was like outside of the island. I wrongly assumed that those were regular lifespans. Lived in a constant state of peace and tranquility. No. Arpachel is a complex history. I'm sure that other countries have their own fair share of complications, too. Yep. I suppose it isn't right to label them all as just outsiders and assume everyone's the same. It just isn't that simple. Well, they're outsiders, yes, but they're not all the same. So, like, the Drifter came from a completely different place than Spinel, although she has an Eastern weapon. So, but she could have gotten that on her travels. We don't really know where she's from. But I would assume she's probably not from, like, the Drifter we know is from Japan, basically. I think they straight up said that. We don't know where Spinel comes from, and we don't know where Adolphe came from. You know what I mean? They could have come from 3 totally different places. But Adolphe doesn't fucking remember either, so. People have both mocked and pitied me for pursuing the path of a mercenary. But thanks to that, I got to meet you two and snag a job here. I can at the very least say I don't regret it. It's just as you said, Anko. This way of life suits me best. You have a little pin feather and I want to get it out for you, but you won't let me. You're just gonna bite me. I'm gonna force pet you. I don't know what you want. Because you want me to pet you, but then I tried to pet you and then you're mad at me. I know. I have no complaints as long as you're content. I would, however, like for you to please drink in moderation. You may end up falling into the ocean again and drowning to your death. Would you not prefer to avoid that? That's definitely a valid concern. I can't argue with that. Spinel burst into boisterous laughter, perhaps from imagining how the scene we described would play out. I was wondering what the commotion was. So you guys are here too. Adolphe! Why, it's the leader of the Corps. You must have an awful lot of free time to be able to stop by an establishment like this. The thing is like, Anko, you remember the work Adolphe was doing, and then you're still insulting him about going to a bar after work. Like, goddamn, the self-hate is so strong in you, girl. I've done all my work for the day. I'm the one who should be upset with you for dragging Spacey out this late. But please don't be upset, Adolphe. I was the one who suggested we check up on Spinel. I moved my chair to make room for Adolphe to sit. I want Spinel and Adolphe to have a drink. Okay, look, listen. I want them to have a drink battle, but she better not get her hands on my man, because, like, I might not be dating him now, but, like, I'm still kind of dating him by dating Anko, and, like, you still can't have the precursor. You can't have pre-Anko. Like, that doesn't fly. You can't have any of my boyfriends. I mean, like, would I give up Mathis? Sure, because he's a good friend, but I don't want him as a love interest. But I don't see Mathis and Spinel. I still think Hugo is a good match. Just so he stops lusting after Eve and, doesn't die just because Eve loves me. You know what I'm saying? I think it would work out for everyone. And again, I'm just going on the assumption that in this realm, then Hugo would be bisexual. So it works. Since we're all here, why don't we have dinner together? It'd be the perfect opportunity to introduce you two properly. Well, why not? Adolphe reluctantly agreed and sat down next to me in the spot right across from Anko. Also, I feel like we haven't had choices in like 84 years, so it's kind of like, at least if we had choices to make, it would feel maybe more like maybe things were going somewhere, you know what I mean? I don't know. So I'm guessing you're Spinel. Thanks for helping Spacey out. Well, it's more or less the other way around. What? Why did you go silent? Is there something on my face? Nah, nothing. Now that I've gotten a good look at you, you've got a nice face there. Don't hit on my boyfriend. As she responded, the food and drinks she ordered were brought to our table. Like, seriously? I know he's not our boyfriend in this route, but he's still my boyfriend. Don't you hit on him. Don't make me have to kick your ass. She is gonna kill me and take all my boyfriends. I know that. I do not have a leg to stand on here. She will murder me. But I'm gonna go down with a very pathetic attempt at a fight. Okay? Spinella handed a drink to Adolphe and raised the glass she was drinking from up into the air. Better late than never, but here's to new friends and the usual forces at play that brought us together. Cheers! Drinks are on me, so have your fill. Cheers! I responded to Spinella's cheerful speech by raising my glass of juice. He's like, why are you staring at me? You're, like, really hot. We should go have sex. Don't you touch him! Spacey flips the fucking table. Spinell promptly kills her, basically. But hey, I'd flip a damn table before she killed me. I'd get a table flip in. Honestly, she wouldn't kill me because she'd be like, no, girl, you're too pathetic. It'd be too easy to kill you. So that's how I'd survive. I wouldn't say survive a battle with Spinell. It would just be survive. Because there would be no battle. Because she would be like, she knows she could kick my ass. One punch and she'd kill me. Drinking right after we cautioned you, I see. She's just like Eve when he's drunk. Don't give her ideas on hitting on Eve. The two men quickly sipped their respective drinks. Ah, that hits the spot. Drink sure tastes better with some company. She emptied her glass within seconds. I was thoroughly impressed. Also, she ain't even drunk, that's the thing. You can really handle your alcohol. Spinell. Kinda. It makes me feel good, but that feeling's usually gone by the next day. I'm guessing you two over there don't drink much. I never think to drink past my limit. Such luxuries don't exist in Hades. Where's the fun in drinking if you can't have as much as you want? Speaking of alcohol, has anyone checked to make sure you're old enough to drink? Yeah, the bar owner did, but after seeing my tattoo, he figured I was of age, so it wasn't an issue. In other words, you've not settled on an age to tell people when they ask. Uncle massaged his brow as if his head hurt. It'd be a good idea to decide on one now. A fake age, huh? This says a lot, though. Like, I will make fun of this game for left and right as we do. Is like, oh my god, you're 23? That old? I'm sorry, that was when Adolphe said he's 25, and we're like, that old? Because everyone dies here when they're 23. So, like, this game, I mean, I don't know if they were making a social commentary on, like, oh my god, people when they're 25, they're so fucking, and, like, making fun of the fact that people think they're so fucking old at 25 these days. Although, it feels that way, trust me. I'm sure. I'm past 25, but I feel so fucking dead sometimes, so... I feel for you people. I really do. It's only going to get worse. But, you know what I mean? I don't know if they're doing that. They were just like, oh, we'll just do that. Blah, if that was it. Or they were really like, let's make them feel worse about shit. But, like, now it's like, wait, okay, you got to pick a fake age. You can't tell people you're 29, girl. You've got to pretend to be 21. Oh, my God. I'm 29 for the 37th time. What would that make me? 38 or 39? You know what I mean? Where you're like, how old are you? I'm 29. Yeah, you've been 29 for the last 85 years. Sure, Grandma. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, are you making fun of the fact that women will lie about their age? Or like, because she's like, what'd she say, 29? She's really fucking old, guys. She's almost 30. Jesus. Adolphe's really old at 25, but she should be in a nursing home. Oh, God. But seriously. I don't know if, like, people really anymore... Do people still lie about their age because they care? I mean, like, back in the day, that was a thing. You had the, oh my God, I'm, like, 29, and you're like 37. Get over it, Brenda. Jesus. You know what I mean? Like... There was always, like, a thing. That was, like, a thing. Women lying about their age to be younger. I mean, only because, again, when you're over the age of 25, you're basically dead and decrepit and, like, So, So I really wonder if they're making fun of that too. Like, well, we gotta lie about our age. In this world, it makes sense, but it's also kind of funny. Like, what are you doing? It's okay. You're not biting my chin, so I'm fine. He's smushed in my hand, but he's like licking my frickin' like, the meaty palm part of your thumb. Keeps licking it. It's weird. Do I salty? Am I salties? Do I taste good? Are you tasting me for when I like drop dead and nobody finds my body and then you eat me? That's what cats are supposed to do. You're not supposed to do that. It's weird. Spinel looked over at Adolphe. I know Anko's hundreds of years old, but how old are you? I'm 21. But then Adolphe's doing that shit. 21? Got it. In that case, I'll be 22. It didn't take you long to figure that out. I think it's a fitting number. It would be impossible to believe she was younger than you. Spinel had Anko's face in a tight grip. Uncle, that's definitely going a bit too far. He's like, she doesn't look that young. Jesus Christ. Poor Spinel. She doesn't look that old. They did draw her... I mean, she doesn't quite... I think it's... She doesn't have, like, bags or anything. It's just... They drew her slightly differently. But I think it's more she doesn't have, like... She has more narrowed eyes. You know what I mean? She doesn't have the quite round eyes. But it could just be right now in the sprite. Spacey's right. I'm not the type to care about my age, but there are things you shouldn't say to women for your own good. Understood. I truly do understand now, so please let go. His expression tells me he thought the same thing and that he's glad he didn't say anything. Adolphe's like, mm-hmm. Spinel released Anko, who let out a sigh of relief. At the very least, if your identity is ever revealed, I'm sure you could take care of it with that immense strength of yours. Yeah, I almost feel stupid for worrying. Seeing them sympathize with each other on such an odd issue made me smile. I'm glad we were able to share a meal with Spinel like this, even though our contract has ended. It feels like I gained an older sister. You don't say. You're real cute, Spacey, unlike these guys over here. When I bashfully expressed my thoughts, Spinel switched seats and gave me some hearty pats on the head. Her touch made me happy, and a bit embarrassed, too. Like, look, she's blushing like she blushes when she's getting all verklempt over there. So you might have a little crush. Oh, look, Spinel's blushing, too, though. She's so bright and full of life. I found myself smiling and laughing whenever I was around her. It was completely dark by the time the four of us finished our meal. I mean, I do like the fact that they introduced her not as like an antagonist, but like as a new like friend. You know what I mean? Because they sometimes you have like another, like a character that's like, oh, that's your best friend. They're a side character. They're off there, whatever. But like a lot of times, like I guess it's split kind of evenly. You have like, oh, the best friend character. Maybe that's rarely ever seen or heard from, or you have the woman who's trying to steal your men, you know? And in this game, we had nobody. We had Salome, but she's like our mother figure, so like, it doesn't pertain, but we didn't have any like female friends really, you know? So it's kind of nice if they're going to add one, it's that they're going to add her as like, she's like a big sister and she's our pal, you know what I mean? Not trying to steal my men. Don't tell Adolphe he's cute though. He's only got eyes for me. It's fine. But, because they could have added in another hot guy and then given us, like, a little fan disc route. That's all I'm saying. Because, like, we can't romance the Drifter. We got the Drifter route, but we just get to know him when we get to oogle him because he's beautiful. But we can't bang him because that was, like, in the past. And that'd be weird. Like, yo, Eve, I'm going to go date your great-great-grandpa or whatever the fuck. But you know what I mean? Like, they could have made Spinel like some hot guy. But then they would have absolutely had to have given you a route. You know what I mean? They would have had to given you an ending with him. There's no way they could do that. So, putting in, like, we're going to give you, like, a tough, kick-ass female character. That's actually kind of awesome. Then you don't have to give us a route. Because they don't generally give you, like, the lady routes. You know? And then we get a tough, kick-ass female character. So, fun times. Again, I want a spin-off game with her where we're her and we get to like kick ass and like we have to rescue our boyfriends because, they're precious little princesses. That kind of shit. Yeah. I mean, sure, you're going to have some like your love interests are going to be like able to fight and stuff, but you're going to have to step in and save their ass. You know? And there's got to be one that's like a waifish little prince who just can't like he can't do anything, he can't hold a sword, he's just fucking useless. He's just there to be pretty and a figurehead and we got to save his ass. You know what I mean? Throw him over our shoulder and swing out over the ocean with him on to jump boat hopping on ropes and shit. You can picture it. I don't even know what I'm saying, but you got it. You know what I'm talking about. There you go. There you go. I don't know why nobody's made this. Come on, let's go, guys. It was completely dark by the time the four of us finished our meal, but it's got to have good art. Okay, that's the thing. Well, see you around. I'll be sure to visit whenever I find the time. The investigation into the curse has nothing to do with me. But if you ever find yourself needing my fighting expertise, just blow the whistle. Yeah, thank you very much. As for you two, make sure you protect your princess and sister, got it? That goes without saying. And take care not to accidentally expose yourself by drinking too much. Oh, that's true. Adolphe knows she's another drifter, right? Okay. No, because, I mean, like, Adolphe, when he's not making his saucer eye face, still has kind of like that. So, but it's like there's just something about her. Like, she doesn't look old, but she looks like she's drawn slightly differently. You know? I mean, maybe it's just because she's tanner than everybody else, and then she's got the scars and stuff and the tattoos, so it just kind of like adds something to her that gives her the vibe of like not being 21. You know what I mean? But they didn't put bags under her eyes making her look dead, so. But that's because she's 29. As soon as she hits 30, then she's going to look like an old wrinkled up hag, so fair enough. Anime and games are very rude. I know they are. They are, Mr. Neelix. They are. They're very mean. I know. They are. They make people look very, very old when they're like 30. Do you believe that? You might live to be 30. You better fucking live to be 30. We've had this conversation. If you don't live to be 30, I'm going to resurrect you and choke you to myself. How dare you? No, I would never do that. But you're going to live to be old bird. You're going to be an old man bird. You're just a baby right now. I say that, but you're going to be 11 this year. You're going to be 11? Oh my God. You're going to be 11 in a couple months, because right now it's still January, but it's almost February's. Your birthday's in May. Yeah, oh my God, you got like 4 months. You got like 4 months, and then you're going to be a big boy of 11. Oh my God. She's not my baby anymore. Oh my God. Squeeze. Anyway. Seemingly satisfied with their responses, she smiled before heading back into the bar. My. I'm overwhelmed by her capriciousness every time I see her. Same here. The expressions on both their faces told me they were absolutely exhausted. I admire her strength, though. Unlike me and my pessimism, Spinel shone like a star that could light up even the darkest of places. I think we got a little lady crush on her. She was so bright that I felt like reaching out toward her to grasp that light myself. Or she's at least going to be an inspiration for us to, like, be bright and happy. To be fair, though, Spinel has not lived in this hellhole her whole life, so. But she's lived through other hells, being a mercenary, going to war, fighting and stuff, but, she has a positive outlook on shit, so. If I start doing training exercises, do you think I could be like her, too? They're both like, please don't. They didn't have to deny it so harshly. It's more like they're like, don't be like her. It's not like the don't be like her as in being strong and whatever. It's the personality that rubs them the wrong way. While we had been sidetracked, we definitely hadn't forgotten our original objective. We got right back to work the next morning. Once we made sure that the alcohol had left their systems, the three of us sat down to discuss our findings. First on the agenda were the documents we looked through at the hospital. That's true. We don't know right now that Adolphe is actually 25. She really thinks Adolphe is 21, so. So most of the victims were relivers. And on top of that, there are an equal number of men and women. It could be a coincidence, but given how little we know, that's a pretty big clue. That's an impressive find, Spacey. We can definitely issue a warning to the people with this new piece of information. Yeah, and then maybe we could, figure this whole mystery out, because we're still at the very beginning stages, and we're, 84 hours into this. That's all I'm saying. It's not even okay, well, we figured one thing. It's we're still at the very beginning stages of this. What? We got a whole fuck ton left to go, and so I think that's my huge complaint. You're taking too long to get the whole, you're literally taking at the same pace that the first game took. Maybe slightly faster, but the first game takes 20 hours to do the main portion, and we're gonna take 18? What the fuck? No, try 5. Simmer it, you know what I mean? Tighten it up. Anyway. Oh, I didn't do anything special. I couldn't have done it without the help of Lucas and Dr. Capucine. But we didn't learn any new information about the curse. I'm sorry about that. There's no need to be sorry, Princess. We can now shift our focus toward looking into the curse because of the clues we did find. If there isn't anything at the hospital, I suppose we should use our connections to the Institute, as unwilling as I am to do so. Okay, well, listen, now you've got me hooked if you're going to bring Cyan into this. Then I'm here for this. Never mind, drag it out. Easier said than done. I'm not sure Cyan would even be able to help. Just as Adolphe uttered those words, a peculiar noise emitted from his pocket. What's that sound? That's my transmitter. Transmitter? Don't explain what a transmitter is, we know. From what I heard, it was a device that was distributed to Cernaval that allowed you to communicate with someone from afar. See, it's shit like this, though. Okay, he's like, oh, a sound emanated from his pocket. Oh, and Adolphe pulled out his transmitter. We know what a transmitter is. You can just pretend she knows what a transmitter is. You didn't have to do this part. This is kind of what's annoying me, though. And I'm going to waste 10 more minutes talking about how stupid this is. What's a transmitter? Okay, and then explaining what a transmitter is. We all know now, because you explained it in the first game. So let's just pretend she knows and take out the 5 lines about explaining what a fucking transmitter is. And what's that? It's a transmitter? What's a transmitter? Let's talk about it. And just say, Adolphe, there's strange now, a sound emanated from his pocket. Adolphe pulled out his transmitter. Okay, good. Cool. That's all you had to do, but you wanted to add 5 extra lines about what the fuck a transmitter was. We didn't need it. We know. We know. Tighten it up. You know what I'm saying? It's shit like this. Adolphe excused himself before taking it out. Yeah? Sorry for bothering you so early, Adolphe. I heard Hugo's voice clearly through the transmitter. Early? It's the middle of the night. Didn't we just get home? Yeah, go ahead. And did something happen with the investigation? Well, something pretty concerning came up about that. Apparently the Royal Guard caught wind of the fact that we were secretly looking into the incidents. And they just stormed into our base telling us to stop sticking our nose into things. And the Corps members are arguing with them now. The Royal Guard? But Cyan hates them, so more way to get him on our side. I blurted out my disbelief quietly so the transmitter couldn't pick it up. Really? Because it sounded loud to me, but that's because I screamed it. But it looks like they're doing everything they can to make everything seem like Boro's doing. Yeah. Eve's at home recovering from the injuries he got from the operation to capture Boro, so there's no one here to help. Got it. I'm on my way. Watch over them and make sure it doesn't blow up into a fight, at least until I get there. Understood. I'll keep an eye out. Don't make sure it doesn't turn into a fight, at least until I get there, because I want to take part. Sorry about that. I'll have to head out for a bit. That's all right. There's no need to worry about us. She's right. Without you here, I can spend some quality time alone with the princess. I was literally going to be like, that's fine, you go. We can make sweet, sweet love while you're not here. Uncle basically said it without saying it straight out, though. Adolphe's gonna be concerned. And don't forget that you're just a freeloader who isn't even paying rent, outsider. Don't worry, I'll make him earn his keep. Wings. Finger guns. Bing, bing. Adolphe got changed after shooting Unco a glare and left for the course base. Is this supposed to be like the next day? I thought we just got home. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's gotten really quiet. It has. And no doubt because that brat only kicks up a fuss when I'm around. He's just a little more lively, I think. I personally like seeing you two together. And to be completely honest, his mere existence is a hindrance to me. But if it pleases you so, I will stop keeping him at a distance. Yeah, if you could, like, kiss each other maybe a little bit. I don't know what that really is, because it's not... I don't think it's gay if it's yourself, is it? I doubt it. You know? So, like... but you're now split and you're like two different people now, but you're still used to be the same person. So like it's a little confusing and like semantics, but whatever. Making you sad is the last thing I wish to do. That would be great. And if possible, do you think you could also be a little more friendly with Adolphe? I'll take it into consideration. There must be a roundabout way of refusing. What should we do now? If the royal guards are in Coen, we probably shouldn't go out and investigate. I'm gonna guess it's the next day. It's just they didn't have like a transition that made that clear. You know, for all the things that they didn't do, all the things that they're dragging out, they didn't say the next day. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Shocking. The one time that would have been helpful, and you could have condensed other shit. You were like, no, we won't tell them it's the next day. They don't need to know that. But, like, let's give 5 lines about... okay, it was like 3. About the fact that it's a transmitter and we don't know what one is and, like, waste time on that. You know? Oh, God, I'm so bitchy about this. I plan to return to the Lycoris field and replenish my powers. Your powers as the Watchman? My toes are so cold, guys. Indeed. And just being here takes a toll on this body, which I created to match that of a human's. Which is why I must regularly return to the fields that are connected to Hades. I had no idea that the Lycoris fields were hiding such a big secret. Well, in that case, can I go with you? I haven't been there in a while, and honestly, it's making me a little anxious. Why, of course. I could never refuse you. Let's enjoy a nice date, just you and me. Uncle was all smiles as he told me that he wouldn't leave me behind. Part of me is like, do we really need to have this scene? Like, and I hate that because yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's time we are spending with Anko. This is the type of stuff we should have. Like, oh my God, we're just going to go hang out in the field with Anko and just enjoy his company and whatever. Like, this is the kind of scenes that I want, but they've spent so much time rehashing the first game, even again, you're like, whatever, that when we're doing scenes like this, I'm like, oh dear God, we're just wasting time here. Let's wrap it up. You know what I mean? And I hate that. This is why I hate it. Because I want little scenes like this where we're having fun and goofing along, but we're spending too much time dragging this out. So when we get to scenes like this, I'm like, do we have time for this? Can we just solve this damn mystery and wrap it up? And it's like, no, but this is the kind of scenes that I want. These are the kind of scenes that I want. You know what I mean? But like they just did this so poorly that it's just, it ruins it. Like it just ruins it. And again, I don't want to talk to the person who thought of this. I just want to slap them. Because like you're ruining it. You're making Anko's route boring and like feels like it's a slog, and that's not how we should be feeling about getting to spend time with Anko. You know what I mean? But you just did it. You executed it so poorly that that's the only way I can feel. So, scenes like this are what I want, though. I want us to have moments like this. And then summarize what we're doing for the rest of the stuff, and then have little scenes like this, and then, you know what I mean? But like, it's also because we're not even we haven't figured out shit. We haven't figured out jack shit. So, like, it doesn't give me hope that 3 weeks from now we're still going to be like, we still haven't figured out jack shit and we're still going to be doing, you know what I mean? Like, we're not making any progress here. So I think that's what's concerning to me after all the time we've spent. Anyway, it feels like we've been here for 84 hours. It could really only have been 4, but it feels like 84. I really don't know at this point how many hours Onko's Red has been, but it feels like I've been here for centuries. The flower field had remained unchanged despite how long it had been. The Lycoris were in full bloom, reflecting a glossy black sheen under the blue sky. Did we switch to being Onko? Because, like, I guess not, but that seems like something that he would have said, you know, it hasn't changed in all this time. We just haven't been here for like a week. Like, I believe this is the first time I've taken a leisurely walk through the fields with you, Onko. A lot happened here after all, including my interfering with your death and the formation of our contract. I smiled in agreement. Were you able to gain your powers back just by being here? Yes, as the Lycorises are special flowers that also bloom in Hades. And just as Anka was about to share some of the secrets behind the mysterious flowers, we heard footsteps that belonged to a third person from the other direction. I turned toward the source of the sound and saw a different color among the black petals. I would have said Eve, because he'd be the only one here with the flowers. Yep, okay. All right. The figure was kneeling on the ground, touching the Lycoris flowers without any hesitation. Eve? The person in question probably heard me. Eve stood up with a confused look on his face, and upon recognizing who we were, he walked toward us with a happy wave. Spacey! What a coincidence seeing you out here! As Eve drew close enough to stand right in front of me, he breathed out a sigh of relief. I was so shocked to hear from Adolphe that you were here during the Boro incident. Oh, you were there. Sorry, not here. You were there during the Boro incident. I'm sorry, buddy. Don't worry. I know I touched your tail. I'm sorry, I just have an itch on my arm under my hoodie on the hand that was cupping you. And I know, I disrupted you. I was trying to do it without disrupting you, but it was really hard to do that. I know, I'm very sorry. It's okay, you're fine now, okay? All right, good boy. I'm glad you're safe. And it looks like you didn't get hurt anywhere either. Yes. Eve gave a sweet smile. Are you falling in love with him? It's fine, I get it. A sudden realization hit me, and I immediately lowered my head apologetically. Eve, about what happened at the orphanage, but then we're having scenes like this, where, like, she's apologized. And again, I get it, but we're rehashing the first game. Like, we didn't need to do this. We know that it happens in the first game. We know that, but we're just doing it in a different way. But again, we're doing the whole first fucking game again. Like, oh my God, Eve, you were the one in the orphanage. Let's talk about it. We don't need this. This is not furthering our romance with Anko. This is just replaying the first game, but we've kind of changed things. It's like we had 2 drafts of the game, and we did one, and now we're going to do the other one. Fuck off, Norton! Don't show again! And it keeps showing me again. And it's really annoying because it pops up and doesn't just like pop up. It slowly creeps up from this like, it's like fucking irritating. Anyway. Eve, okay, I already read that. About what happened at the orphanage, yada yada. I'm so sorry for putting your life in danger. Hey, no need to apologize. Oh, is this the accident where he exploded and we thought he died and then Lucas punched him back to life? Did that happen in this one? Did we rehash that again? I think we did, because I think that was one of the parts in the very beginning. It was like, yada, 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 yeah, all this shit happened before she went to go, right before she went off to go slit her throat. And then I thought, good, we'll start from there and it'll be never mind, we're doing the same damn thing again. But again, this time, they just changed how we're going about it. But it's still just draft 2 of the first game, which is so annoying. Anyway, no need to apologize. That was just an unlucky accident. That's nothing you caused. But, well, if you really feel bad, then how about we be friends? I'd be happy to get to know you better. Friends? This was the first time I was asked to be someone's friend. Are you sure? Yeah,
We're always meeting out here by chance, so I bet we could be the best of friends.
That's right. Why are you always out here?
Huh? What if I never told you?
Eve glanced at the Lycoris that bloomed around us. Look, I love Eve and everything, but I don't need his whole backstory again because we know it, and this ain't about him. You know? Like,
Thing is, I'm actually the owner of the field and Lycoris noirs that surround the country.
a surprising reveal without much fanfare.
Huh?
My gasp of shock was louder than anticipated, but that was only natural given the news.
I already told Adolphe and Hugo. But there's a story. A mission that's been passed down through generations of my family, who know a lot about plants. According to my grandfather, who taught me everything I know, the Lycoris noirs were grown by death hundreds of years ago. He looked like a mage from a fairy tale with long, silvery hair and crimson eyes the color of blood mixed with fire.
You're like, so like Anko?
My ancestor, the head of my family line, came face to face with death and...
I mean, so Big Death is basically Anko, so.
It was I who planted the Lycoris noirs across this
land, so Death gets... We didn't know that at the time. You know.
The flowers will one day be offered to my dear partner and princess. You must not allow the flowers to wilt. Should they wilt, I will return to reap the lives of all who live here and take them to Hades. They formed a contract with him, which led him to become the owner of the flowers, as well as their guardian, all to protect the country. So to prevent unnecessary conflict, I decided to share the truth with only a few select people. There aren't many who know that such a large piece of land belongs to anyone at all.
I see. Well, it's no wonder that the flowers are healthy, no matter when I see them. And in other words, the reason why Adolphe is still in good health, even at his age, it's because of the work you've been doing, Eve. Thank you very much, Eve. I've been saved many times by the beauty of the Lycoris noirs, too. I also heard that this was the place where I was abandoned, so I guess in a way this field is like my hometown.
I see. You're the first person to ever say they like the Lycorises. I'm really happy to hear that. Regardless of how much you like this place, you shouldn't be coming here alone, okay? You're like, I'm not alone, I'm with Anko.
Where the hell is Anko? You know he pieced out. I'm pretty sure a very similar thing happened in the first game, if not word for word, but...
You can ask Adolphe to tag along at the very least.
Huh? I didn't come alone, I'm here with... I realized that Anko was silent throughout my entire conversation with Eve. And is missing. Because Eve would recognize him as Death, you know what I mean? He'd be like, you look exactly like what the Drifter told me. Well, my ancestor. We can't say the Drifter. Huh? The man in question was nowhere to be seen. I swore he was right next to me.
What's wrong, Spacey?
Well, I stopped myself before saying another word. I wasn't sure whether or not I could talk about Anka without getting his permission first. I'll be careful. I'll have Adolphe come with me next time.
Yeah, it's for the best.
For the time being, I simply agreed with Eve's suggestion. We're going to go to the cave and find him. After that, I told Eve about Adolphe going to the core base to deal with the argument between them and the Royal Guard.
I see. I didn't think it'd escalate to a fight. I'll head over there too, just in case. Thanks for letting me know. I'm glad I bumped into you here.
Oh, it's nothing. By the way, what were you doing here in the fields to begin with? I heard you were still recovering at home. Not to mention it seemed you were simply checking in on the flowers.
Oh, yeah, I'm completely fine now, but recently I've noticed the number of Lycorises has dwindled too soon.
Dwindled? They aren't wilting?
Lycorises are really resilient. If they were wilting, the whole patch would have wilted together.
Maybe someone was picking them without your knowledge.
Considering how they're known as the flowers of misfortune, I doubt anyone would think of doing that.
Anko is, because he's eating them.
The only one who would need the Lycorises is the death my grandfather told me about.
Eve looked toward the flowers again as he softly spoke of death with a hint of admiration in his tone.
I'll head off. Oh, I'll head off then. Take care on your way back.
Thank you. I'll be sure to head straight home without taking any detours. I watched as he left, taking care not to trample any of the flowers on his way out. The story of the Lycorises and death passed down through generations of his family. My musings of the story you've shared with me poured forth. The so-called Death's traits and manner of speech reminded me of a certain man. Could it have been Unco? Yes.
Indeed, the very Death who entered a contract with his ancestor was none other than I.
I jumped as Unco suddenly appeared nearby. Uncle, where have you been? But the fact that he also learned how to, like, disappear and reappear like a fucking ghost is impressive, to be fair.
I sensed that he would be nearby and used a little spell to disappear. I simply cannot face anyone in his family. You seem awful curious about my relationship with his family. I'm not sure how much I'm able to reveal, but I'll share as much as I can. I simply cannot resist your charm.
Uncle covered his mouth to laugh before continuing.
While the Lycorises themselves are special flowers that also bloom in Hades, the flowers their blank grew were exceptionally beautiful, and I was mesmerized at first sight.
Uncle spoke through the unknown interference, reminiscing about the past.
Which is why you asked
them to grow the flowers. That's him, not me, sorry.
Indeed, I did not threaten him with the curse. The noble blank agreed with our contract.
It says Drifter. Okay, I bet that's, yeah. Well, see, he said the before when it was blacked out, I was like, you know what, but it's not. I think that was too long, but this, I actually don't remember what was the other one? No, but like their grandfather, no, the flowers their ancestor grew, or ancestors or someone. Who knows? But this is it's probably the noble Drifter agreed with our contract because that's who he made the contract with. So
it is true that I referred to myself as the Watchman of Death back then, but it seems that time has warped the truth and turned me into death itself.
I see. If Uncle had introduced himself as Death when we first met, I would have believed him. Because Death was the country's primary enemy, there was no attention paid at all to the Watchman of Death. So the Lycoris Noirs don't have anything to do with the curse?
It is true that death is hastened when they wilt, but it would be difficult to say they are the root cause. By the time I formed that pack, the country had been eroded by the curse for hundreds of years.
I didn't sense that Uncle was lying, and his explanation did make sense. Even if he knew more useful information, it was possible he wouldn't be able to tell me without the message being disrupted. But I'm somewhat relieved. I'm so glad to hear that you weren't the cause of the curse. A side of me was relieved that I wouldn't need to bear some sort of grudge against him.
You're truly kind, Princess. Each word you utter is like music to my ears, and I fall for you more and more.
Yeah, I wish we could just, like, fall in love and not have to repeat the whole fucking first game. Can we, like, not wrap it up, but, like, speed through the solving the mystery and just keep our romancy moments. You know what I'm saying?
But you're too kind, and it worries me. What would you do if I were lying and that I was the true source of the curse?
Convince you to undo it. That's not possible. I feel like that's not possible. I'm very sorry, buddy. We actually got a choice this time. That's not possible. Good for me. Sorry. I know it's almost time for a break. You need to just settle down for just a few more minutes, okay? That's not possible. It's true that you're a man of many secrets, but I have faith that you aren't someone who would hurt me or anyone I know.
I see. But that is rather naive of you.
Yeah, hi, duh.
Any other person would immediately attempt to remove anything that threatens their livelihood without hesitation.
Sorry, I had to move to do that, and now he's fidgety, so we're gonna pop him over here. Can you go? Good boy. But if that were to happen...
Yes.
You gotta come back. Come on. Nobody's waiting for you. I wouldn't be able to see you again. I didn't understand why he had to point out the obvious. Anko seems stumped upon hearing my response. He's like, wait, what? You're like, I'm in love with you. He's like, not Adolpha? You're like, nah. You're like, well, yeah, too, but like, fucking A. I'm dropping everything, sitting back down.
There's absolutely no need for you to worry, my princess. Even if I were to disappear for any other reason, there's someone out there who can protect your sanctity and your life and guide you toward a future full of light. And once he does, my duties will be no more.
Anko spoke with confidence. You're like, excuse me, I don't want someone else. Look at you. Look at me with that beautiful face. He doesn't understand me at all. I grew a little huffy upon hearing the future Anko spoke of. I like how she looks pissed. She's like, I don't want someone else, bitch. Which was why, storm off, punch him. Kiss him. I reached out a finger and lightly poked Anko's cheek with it. She's like, how dare he? Poke him in the cheek. Okay.
But, princess, what are you doing? While it's certainly an adorable gesture, I'm confused as to what I said to make you pout like that.
I continued to poke his cheek. I channeled my frustration toward his lack of understanding with each poke.
My princess, why are you not responding?
Because you completely missed the point. The look on his face right now is like, girl, don't even. And she's like, how dare you? I couldn't believe it. He really didn't understand a thing. This didn't have anything to do with me undoing the curse. I'll be lonely without you. It would be easy for me to tell him, but do it. I had a slight feeling that even if I were to tell him, he would simply say, but you have family and new friends, too. And try to lift my spirits using examples of people apart from himself. Those were the last words I wanted to hear from him. I think it's just, it's very odd. Because to be fair, his whole thing, like, you have someone out, like, there's someone out there who can protect your sanctity in your life and guide you toward a future full of light. There's a lot of them, because if you think about it, in the other game, we had all the different characters. But actually, he doesn't want us to be with Lucas. He was like, dear God, no, because Lucas is a murderer, right? I don't think he had a complaint about Mathis, but Mathis is a homunculus and not a real boy. So I'm not really sure. You know what I mean? He definitely didn't want us with Cyan. You know what I mean? I think Eve was the only one that he was like, it should be Eve or whatever. And Anko hates himself so much, Adolphe, that like he wouldn't do that. So him being like, oh, there's someone out there that'll protect you, you don't have to worry about me. And it's like, but you hate yourself, so you're not talking about Adolphe. But in a way, it's like, but are you? Because if you think about it, like, Adolphe went through all of this to become Anko and everything to save us, because fuck that. Like, he was so desperate for us to live. Like, look at everything he did for us. Holy shit. Right? So, Anko would know that Adolphe would go, what he would do if he were put in the place that Anko had been put in. You know what I mean? In that moment. So he even though he hates Adolphe for everything he ever was, basically, because he hates himself for that. But you have to think, like, part of his self-hate, too, is, like, initially, like, this version of Anko, like, well, right now, the version of Adolphe that exists in this realm right now, in tandem with Anko, is not the same person, obviously, that Anko was when he was Adolphe. There was a split, and that was when we died, right? So this Adolphe has never experienced that, so he's different. But Anko hates him for everything that led up to that moment. Because he's mad at himself that it got to that point. Whatever. But you wonder, too, if now, like, were you speaking when you were like, yeah, there's somebody else that'll protect you? And he's like, and as much as I hate it, in his head, he's thinking this, it's fucking Adolphe because I know how much he loves you because I was there. I was him. I understand that. Maybe that's also why Anko has some resentment and anger toward Adolphe, because he's like, I'm doing all this, I'm saving her, and then you're going to be the one that benefits, and you're going to be the one that gets to be with her. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Because if you think about that, like, You're going to go back in time to save the person you love more than anything. And then, but you've now crafted this whole other persona, and other you goes back, saves that person, and that person then ends up with you, and you're like, good for me, but also fuck me for taking my true love away from me. Wait, you know what I mean? Like, that's gotta kind of fuck with you a little bit. So I'm wondering if that's also part of why he hates Adolphe a little bit, because he's like, you're gonna end up with her because that's the way it should have been, but like, you're not me anymore, and I'm not you anymore, and like, damn it! I'm doing this for her sake, but also for me, which is you, and now you're you, and I'm me, and we're separate. Damn it! That's gotta be kind of fucked up. And we're like, no, bitch, smack, because I don't think he's ever been thinking, you will fall in love with me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this to save you so that you'll... He's just doing this to save her so she can live happily, and he's not even considering himself in this equation. It's like, Adolphe will protect you, and as much as I hate him, it's fine, like, whatever. Like, and that's kind of adorable and sad, but also sweet. Like, oh, look at you, sweetie, not thinking that she was ever going to fall in love with you. Never thinking, good, I'm going to save her, and she's my princess, and I'm going to love her. You were never considering that. Which, obviously, if you think about it, the main game, that would be why he didn't even get her out. You know what I mean? Because it was like, no. Because it was always meant to be Adolphe. So, damn. Harsh. But anyway, those were the last words I wanted to hear from him. You're so kind that it's cruel, Uncle. I kept my true feelings to myself and silently fumed with my cheeks puffed. Now, you know what? If you had maybe told him, we wouldn't have to drag this out for another 84 years. What do you mean by that? I won't tell you. You'll have to figure that out on your own. Oh, girl, learn communication skills! If only for the fact that we don't have 84 more hours. I was like, oh, good, we confess our love, and then maybe we can just be like, and then we solve the mystery, and then we move on with the romance. And then, you know what I mean? You know? Instead of like 6 hours from now, we're still doing this dance. Which, again, is fine when you're playing a full-length game, but we're not doing that, so I don't know why we're doing that. It's killing me a little. But, Princess, please tell me. If I do not understand you, I cannot offer you a sincere apology. I wordlessly poked him in response. He's like, girl, use your words. While it may have been out of place in the field of Lycoris, I continued doing so until I was satisfied. It's kind of funny, but it's also a little juvenile. Like, girl, use your words. But anyway, we're going to be here for... I'm cheating for a second. Hold on. Okay. We literally have 2 choices left, and those are our save files. Okay? So, that's it. 2 choices left. But as you see, it's still going to be like 84 years before we get there. So, I don't know. I really hope that, like, this week, which would be like 3 more hours, we'll wrap it up. I'm really hoping, because if we're doing this for the next like 2 weeks, if we've got like 7, 8 more hours, I don't know if I can take it. Like, we have moments where it's cute and we're having fun, but it's like, but the overall as we get to it, and I'm like, oh dear God, we're still in the very beginning of trying to figure out the mystery. And like, I feel like if they wanted to kind of almost rehash the full game again, they could have done it better. Kind of summarize some stuff. We were solving blah, blah, blah. Then we have some cute little scenes, blah, blah, like whatever. And then this way you would have felt like, okay, as to solving the mystery, we're having our cute little scenes with people, but we're further along. And you'd be like, okay, well, we're about like halfway through figuring this out at this point. Okay. So, but it's like, we're still at the beginning. We've just realized that the people that died were relivers. That's it. That's all we know. That's nothing. We know jack shit. And I don't know if then they're going to go like, okay, well, we chased after Boro and let's pretend that's Boro. Then we went to the thing and that's the other thing. And now we're going to go talk to Cyan later. And then all of a sudden they're just going to slap it all together. And it's like, okay. But like, because I don't really know how they're constructing this, aside from we're basically rehashing the whole first game. But when you think of it in that context, you're like, we haven't gotten anywhere. We know nothing. We're like, oh, there's two Boros? Okay. And then, you know what I mean? So I don't know if they're just like, yada yada some Boro stuff, yada yada some stuff at the hospital. Oh, now we're going to go yada yada some curse stuff, and then we're going to tie it all up. We're like, okay, maybe there's only a couple hours left, and it'll be like, all right. But still not going to negate that it's been a little kind of boring. Because, you know what I mean? Like, we know all this stuff already, and then they're spending so much time on, like, I heard a weird noise. He pulled it out of his pocket. What's a transmitter? Okay, this is what a transmitter. We know what a transmitter is. I don't need this. Like, you know, we know what things are. Like, to be fair, I don't think we've actually really met Mathis. So do we get to meet Mathis? You know what I mean? Like, dear God. Like, you can gloss over some of the stuff that's not like, yes, I love all the characters, but we don't really need to have like meet cutes with them right now. That's not our focus. Anko's our focus. So like, and then they introduced Spinel and she was going to help us capture Jean, but then she just got Capucine. But also, as much as I like her, I'm still like, what the fuck is her point? Because we've had some cute scenes with her, but she's really added nothing to this. Really added nothing. So far. And so I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not complaining that they added her, but I'm also questioning, like, what was the point, though? Like, and I feel like if they had done this better, and it wasn't like, oh, dear God, it feels like a slog to get through, I might have enjoyed a little more like, she's pointless, but hey, she's fun. But now I'm like, she seems pointless, and a lot of this is pointless, and, you know, but anyway, I know, like, before when we were doing this, it's a heavier game, so when we're doing the encore ends, it's like I can only record a little bit at a time, and I gotta take breaks. Now we're in I'm just so bored with it that it's like I gotta do one part, and then I can't record another part. Like, I would like to record a couple hours today, but I can't do it. I can't. I'm so like, I don't want it. You know what I mean? It's a slog to record an hour. And I can't express enough how much I hate that. Because when we're having conversations with Anko and we're getting played, like, I like some of the scenes, but it's just that overarching feeling of, again, like, you know? Like, I can't get rid of that overarching feeling, and I hate that. It's such a disservice to the character and to the game itself, where at least I know it's not going to end on that note. Like, we're going to get to the end, and it's going to be like, I don't know if it was worth it to get to the end. I wish they had gotten there faster, but the end will be good. I'm sure it'll be great. It'll be beautiful. And then at least we get to go to the fun little side stories, which are happier, peppier, and we'll be able to wrap up the game itself on a better note instead of this being the last thing we do. But, dear God, you know? So, anyway, I'll hopefully see you next time. I'm not really sure. Well, I don't know. But, like, anyway, bye.